Section 9.4, Example 2, Adding cover pages to PDF files. Let's return to the scenario from the start of the chapter. We have written 100 reports that are in PDF format. Our colleague has designed 100 covers for those reports that are also in PDF format, and we need to merge the covers with the reports so that each finalized PDF file starts with the cover and continues with the report. Figure 9.1 provides an illustration of the desired process.
Figure 9.1. Illustration of the desired process of creating combined PDFs by merging the report cover in the cover directory with the report in the reports directory. Note that the reports may be more than one page.
PDF files and Microsoft Word and Excel files aren't text files. You might wonder why we can't simply use Python methods such as read and write to manipulate PDF files. After all, that's just what we did when working with CSV files in Chapter 2. The big difference is that CSV files are text files, which are files readable by humans with no formatting or special commands. However, many other file formats aren't text files. A PDF file, for example, isn't human readable and needs to be processed by code that is aware of the PDF format. This is true of Microsoft Word files and Microsoft Excel files as well. They're not text files, so we need specialized tools to work with them. In the resources for this book, in the CH9 folder, you'll find two subfolders. The Reports subfolder contains 100 reports as PDF files, and the Covers subfolder contains 100 covers as PDF files, one for each report. The reports are named 1.pdf, 2.pdf, 3.pdf, and so on. The respective covers are named Cover 1.pdf, Cover 2.pdf, Cover 3.pdf, and so on. We'll merge these reports and covers together in this section. Open some of the cover PDF files and some of the report PDF files. You can do that using a program such as Adobe Acrobat or however you typically open PDF files on your computer. You'll notice that the covers are always exactly one page, but the reports can be more than one page. When we get to the code, we should take care to tell Copilot that reports can be more than one page. Otherwise, Copilot might write code assuming that the reports, like the covers, are only one page. You might be wondering how we created these 100 covers and reports. You'd be disappointed if we made them manually, one at a time, right? Don't worry. We automated that creation process in much the same way we'll automate the merging process next. Section 9.4.1, Conversing with Copilot. We need our tool to find all reports and covers, add the cover to the front of each report, and produce a finalized PDF for each report that contains both the cover page and report pages. How do we merge PDF files using Python? Let's find out. Human. I need to write a Python program that merges PDF files. How do I do this? GitHub Copilot. You can use the PyPDF2 library to merge PDF files in Python. Here is an example code snippet that shows how to merge two PDF files.
See this code?
In this example, we first open the two PDF files to be merged using the open function. We then create a PDF reader object for each file using the PDF file reader function from PyPDF2. Next, we create a PDF writer object using the PDF file writer function. We then loop through the pages of each PDF file using the getNumPages and getPage methods of the reader objects and add each page to the writer object using the addPage method. Finally, we write the merged PDF to a file using the write method of the writer object and close all the input and output files using the close method. We have a lead. This PyPDF2 module seems to do what we need. It looks like it gives us PDF file reader to read an existing PDF file, and PDF file writer to create a new PDF file. We see the code using getPage to get a page from an existing PDF file, and addPage to write it to the new PDF file. Very promising. Is there something built into Python that we could use, so that we don't have to worry about installing PyPDF2? Human. Is there a way I can do it without having to install a Python module? GitHub Copilot. Yes, you can use the subprocess module to call a command line tool like PDFTK to merge PDF files. Here is an example code snippet that shows how to merge two PDF files using PDFTK.
See this code?
In this example, we use the subprocess.call function to call PDFTK with the appropriate arguments to merge the two PDF files, file1.pdf and file2.pdf. The cat argument tells PDFTK to concatenate the input files, and the output argument specifies the output file name as merged.pdf. Note that you will need to have PDFTK installed on your system for this code to work. If you don't have PDFTK installed, you can download it from the official website, at this link. This approach may ultimately end up being valuable, but it's not exactly a built-in solution. After all, the final paragraph talks about us having to install some new software called PDFTK. At this point, we'd probably go with the first option of using PyPDF2, but let's press forward once more with Copilot to make sure we don't miss any good options. Human. Are there other Python PDF libraries that I should consider? GitHub Copilot. Yes, there are several other Python libraries that you can use to work with PDF files. Here are some popular ones. 1. ReportLab, a library for creating PDF documents from scratch, with support for text, graphics, and images. 2. FPDF, a library for creating PDF documents from scratch, with support for text, graphics, and images. 3. PDFminer, a library for extracting text and metadata from PDF files. 4. PyMuPDF, a library for working with PDF files with support for text, graphics, and images. 5. PDFRW, a library for reading and writing PDF files with support for text, graphics, and images. Each library has its own strengths and weaknesses, so you should choose the one that best fits your needs. If you only need to merge PDF files, then PyPDF2 or PDFTK may be sufficient. However, if you need to create or manipulate PDF files in more complex ways, then one of the other libraries may be a better choice. The last paragraph tells us that we're probably in good shape using PyPDF2 if all we need to do is merge PDF files. But let's finish our conversation here by understanding the pros and cons of all of these tools. That way, if we get stuck with PyPDF2, we know where to turn to next. Human. Can you summarize the strengths and weaknesses of these libraries? GitHub Copilot. Certainly. Here is a summary of the strengths and weaknesses of the libraries I mentioned. PyPDF2, a library for working with PDF files with support for text, graphics, and images. Strengths. 1. Easy to use for simple tasks like merging PDF files. 2. Good documentation and examples available. 3. Supports a wide range of PDF features. Weaknesses. 1. Limited support for advanced PDF features like forms and annotations. 2. Can be slow for large PDF files. ReportLab, a library for creating PDF documents from scratch, with support for text, graphics, and images. Strengths. 1. Very powerful and flexible for creating complex PDF documents. 2. Supports a wide range of PDF features. 3. Good documentation and examples available. Weaknesses. 1. Steep learning curve for beginners. 2. Can be slow for large PDF files. FPDF, a library for creating PDF documents from scratch with support for text, graphics, and images. Strengths. 1. Lightweight and easy to use. 2. Good documentation and examples available. 3. Supports a wide range of PDF features. Weaknesses. 1. Limited support for advanced PDF features like forms and annotations. 2. Can be slow for large PDF files. PDFminer, a library for extracting text and metadata from PDF files. Strengths. 1. Very powerful and flexible for extracting text and metadata from PDF files. 2. Supports a wide range of PDF features. 3. Good documentation and examples available. Weaknesses. 1. Steep learning curve for beginners. 2. Limited support for creating or manipulating PDF files. PyMuPDF, a library for working with PDF files, with support for text, graphics, and images. Strengths. 1. Very fast and efficient for working with PDF files. 2. Supports a wide range of PDF features. 3. Good documentation and examples available. Weaknesses. 1. Steep learning curve for beginners. 2. Limited support for creating or manipulating PDF files. PDFRW, a library for reading and writing PDF files with support for text, graphics, and images. Strengths. 1. Very powerful and flexible for reading and writing PDF files. 2. Supports a wide range of PDF features. 3. Good documentation and examples available. Weaknesses. 1. Steep learning curve for beginners. too, can be slow for large PDF files. Don't be too intimidated by the steep learning curve for beginners cautions in there. If Copilot has been trained on the library, then you may still be successful. Based on what we've learned here, we might eliminate PDF Miner because it apparently has limited support for creating or manipulating PDF files, but we'd keep all others in contention just in case we need them. For now, we're going to proceed with PyPDF2 and see how it goes. Section 9.4.2, Writing the Tool. Go ahead and install the PyPDF2 module. Be careful with the capitalization. The module is called exactly PyPDF2, not PyPDF2, PyPDF2, or any other capitalization. In our previous example, we wrote a function to clean up an email that was on the clipboard. We didn't need to pass any information to that function, so the function had no parameters. Here, our function will need 3 parameters: the name of the directory with the reports, the name of the directory with the covers, and the name of the directory where we want to write our finalized, merged, PDF files. In our docstring, we need to explain what each of these directories is for, and also the pattern of the file names in the directories. After all, Copilot will need to know how the reports match up with the cover pages. Trying PyPDF2. We're going to use the PyPDF2 Python library to try to get the job done. Look back to what Copilot Chat told us about the PyPDF2 library. The sample code it gave us used PDF File Reader to read existing PDF files and PDF File Writer to create a new PDF file. It also used getPage and addPage to manipulate pages. Look out for these in the code that Copilot produces. They're telltale signs that Copilot is generating code that's on the right track. Here's the prompt that we used in the code that Copilot gave us.
Listing 9.3. Function to add covers to PDF documents.
Be careful with automation programs. Programs like the one we've written to merge PDF files can rip through hundreds or thousands of files very quickly. If they aren't operating correctly, they can easily result in damaged or lost files. Anytime we use open with W or WB as the second parameter, it means that we're overwriting a file. Let's focus on this line from our program in listing 9.3.
See this code?
It's using the open function to open a file. Specifically, it's opening the current report file in the final dir directory. The second argument to open here, WB, means that we want to open the file so we can write to it. That's the W. And that the file we're writing is a binary file. That's the B, not a text file. If the file doesn't already exist, then the W we've included will result in the file being created. That's not the dangerous part. The dangerous part is what happens when the file already exists. In that case, W wipes out its contents and gives us an empty file that we can start writing to. Now, if our program is working correctly and only doing this in our final dir, then we're okay. But this is what we need to carefully verify before letting our program loose. We highly recommend that you first test on a small directory of files that you don't care about. Further, we recommend changing lines of code that open files using W or WB to print a harmless output message instead, so that you can see exactly which files are going to be overwritten or created. For example, in our program here, we need to comment out these 2 lines.
See this code?
Instead, we'll use print to print out the file that we would have created or overwritten.
See this code?
Then, when you run your program, you'll see the names of files that the program intended to write. If the output looks good, that is, the program is operating exactly on the files that you wanted it to operate on, then you can uncomment the code that actually does the work. Exercise caution and always keep backups of your important files. The last line of the program in listing 9.3 makes the assumption that the directory of reports is called reports, the directory of cover pages is called covers, and the directory where the final PDF files should go is called final. Now, create the final directory. It should be there along with your reports and covers directories. The overall structure of the code looks promising to us. It's getting a list of the PDF reports, and then for each one, it's merging those pages with the cover page. It's using a for loop to loop through the pages of the report, which is good because it can grab all the pages that way. By contrast, it's not using a for loop on the cover PDF file, which again is good because we know that the cover has only one page anyway. However, the first line of code it gave us looks like it's using a function called listdir in a module called OS. There are other lines that use this module as well. Do we need to be importing that OS module? Indeed we do, and we can prove it by running the code. If you run the code, you'll get an error.
See this code?
We need to add import OS at the start of our program to fix this. The updated code is in the following listing.
Listing 9.4, improved function to add covers to PDF documents.
We're not out of the woods yet, though. Our updated program still doesn't work. Here's the error we get when we run our program.
See this code?
We've run into the problem where Copilot thinks, hey, let's use PDF file reader since I've been trained that this is part of PyPDF 2. But between Copilot being trained and the time of our writing, the PyPDF 2 maintainers have removed PDF file reader and replaced it with something else. PDF reader, according to the final line of the error message. This discrepancy may very well be fixed for you by the time you read this book, but we want to pretend it's still messed up so that we can teach you what to do if this does happen to you in the future. At this point, we have three options. Install an earlier version of PyPDF 2. The last two lines of the error message tell us that PDF file reader, the function we need from PyPDF 2, was removed in PyPDF 2300. As a result, if we install a version of PyPDF 2 earlier than 300, we should have our function back. In general, installing earlier versions of libraries isn't advisable because security concerns may be present in those versions that have since been fixed in more recent versions. In addition, there may be bugs present in the older versions that have since been fixed. It's worth Googling what has been changed in the library recently to determine whether using an older version is safe. In this case, we have done that homework and see no obvious risk in using an older version of PyPDF 2. Fix the code ourselves using the suggestion in the error message. That is, we would replace PDF file reader with PDF reader and run the program again. In this case, we would be told about other deprecations, and we'd need to fix those following the same process. It's very nice of the authors of PyPDF 2 to tell us what to do inside the error messages. For practice, you might like to work through this, making each update suggested by the error message. We wish all error messages were so useful, but this won't always be the case. Sometimes, a function will be removed without giving us any recourse. In that case, it may be easier to consider our next option. Use a different library. Earlier, we asked Copilot for other possible PDF Python libraries we could use, and we received many suggestions. If the first two of our options here aren't satisfactory, we could jump to trying one of those. We're going to illustrate how to solve the problem and get our code running with the first option, using an earlier version of PyPDF 2. And the third option, using a different library entirely. Using an earlier version of PyPDF 2. When using pip install to install a Python library, by default, we get the most current version of the library. That's usually what we want, the latest and greatest. But it's also possible to explicitly request an older version of the library. Here, we need a version of PyPDF 2 prior to version 300, rather than the standard usage of pip.
See this code?
We can instead use
See this code?
the less than 300 is what we use to ask for the most recent version of the library that's less than version 300. The command should result in output like the following.
See this code.
Now we have an older version of PyPDF 2 installed. At this point, you should be able to run our program. It'll take a few seconds, and then the job will be done. You can check your final directory for the newly created PDF files. Open a few of them to make sure that our program has done the right thing. Each PDF file should start with a cover page and contain all the pages of the report, not just the first page if the report has multiple pages. Think of how tedious this would have been by hand, and we've gotten the computer to do it for us. Moreover, the next time we have to do the same thing at work, more reports for more people, we've got a tool all set to help us get it done quickly. Using a different PDF library? Now let's try solving our problem with PyPDF 2 by using another library, one of those that Copilot told us about in our initial conversation about PDF libraries. We won't go through all the gory details with you on how we decided which library to try next, but we'll walk through the highlights of our journey. We started by asking Copilot Chat how we can use the ReportLab Python module to merge PDF files, but that redirected us back to using PyPDF 2. We received the same response for FPDF. We were told that FPDF can't merge PDF files, but that PyPDF 2 can. We then moved on to asking about PyMu-PDF, and this part of the conversation was productive. Human. How can I use the Python PyMu-PDF library to merge PDF files? GitHub Copilot. You can use the FITS module from the PyMu PDF library to merge PDF files. Here's an example code snippet that shows how to merge two PDF files using PyMu PDF.
See this code?
This code first creates a list of PDF files to merge, file1.pdf and file2.pdf. It then creates a new document object using FITS, which represents the merged PDF. It loops through each PDF file in the list, opens it using FITS, and inserts each page of the PDF file into the PDF writer object using the insert PDF method. Finally, it saves the merged PDF to a new file called merged.pdf using the save method. You can modify this code to add any additional content to the merged PDF using PyMu PDF. Just create a new page object, add the content to the page, and insert the page into the PDF writer object using the insert page method. The sample code here is using insert PDF to add each PDF file to the merged PDF file. We should be on the lookout for our code using insert PDF as well. The library is called PyMu PDF, so we need to install it with...
See this code?
But then we have to use import FITS? Why import FITS and not import PyMu PDF? Apparently the designers of this library liked FITS more than PyMu PDF, so we'll need to go with it. It's rare indeed, but occasionally we use one name to install the library and another to import it. If you encounter name error when you import, if Python gives you a name error referring to the library that you're trying to import, it's a good bet that you haven't successfully imported that library. It could be that the library isn't in fact installed, or that you need to use a different name to import it. Use Copilot Chat to have a conversation if you ever find that you've installed a library but can't seem to import it. Now we're ready to generate some code. The following listing shows the prompt that we used and the code that Copilot gave us.
Listing 9.5. Improved function to add covers to PDF documents.
This program happens to start with some code that creates the output directory if it doesn't already exist. After that, the steps are similar to those in our earlier program that used PyPDF2, although the functions called by each program are different. That makes sense because PyPDF2 and PyMu PDF are different libraries, with different features and functions. In both cases, we're using listdir to get a list of the report PDF file names. In the for loop, we go through each of those reports. The code in the loop is responsible for creating a new PDF file that contains the cover followed by the report. In our PyPDF2 code, there was an inner for loop that we needed to loop through all the pages of the report. In our current program, we don't need that because Copilot used the insert PDF function, which inserts a PDF file into another PDF file in one shot, not page by page. Whether you took the approach of installing the older library, or you chose to use a different library, we've solved our problem and automated what would have been an unpleasantly tedious task. Notice that we've slightly altered the workflow that we described in the previous chapter to take into account handling the different Python modules that could aid you with your task. A modified workflow is provided in Figure 9.2.
Figure 9.2. Additions to our workflow to account for working with different Python modules.